Welcome back to Moose on the Loose. We've got a clip here from Michelle Ferreri, a conservative. She's a very vocal conservative, and she speaks before the House of Commons session and is just ripping and ripping and ripping about the carbon tax, and it is a glorious sight. She brings up, she comes absolutely loaded with all the facts. So let's check this out.
This has been a lie from day one. I mean, the Prime Minister promised that initially this tax would never go higher than $50 a ton. Now, it's set to reach $170 per ton. Trudeau said the Prime Minister said the carbon tax would be revenue neutral, but the Parliamentary Budget Officer confirms that Canadians pay more than they get back in rebates. The Prime Minister said the carbon tax would help lower GHG emissions, but the Liberal government will not meet its own environmental targets by 2030. Why does anybody believe him? They don't. They don't.
Hear, hear.
And why should they? Because he tells them one thing and does another, and doubles down, lets his ego lead. Because it's way more important to be right than to listen to Canadians who you are truly hurting. Do you know, Madam Speaker, according to the Food Insecurity Among Canadian Families report, using data from the 2021 Canada Income Survey, almost 50% of single mothers living below the poverty line struggle with food insecurity. What's going to happen with this carbon tax increase on April 1st if already 50% of single mothers are struggling with food insecurity? This past week, I had the chance to visit the beautiful province of New Brunswick. Shout out to the East Coast and the amazing humans that live out there. And I went to many food banks. Double, triple increase in 1 year. And the demographic of who's using that food bank? Students, seniors, working middle class, and wait for this one, active serving military families.
Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful.
I actually couldn't believe what I was hearing when Jane told me that from the Oromakto Food Bank. I couldn't actually believe what she said. I said, what did you say? She said, yeah, we have about 50 active serving military families accessing the food bank. I said, since when? She said, about 4 or 5 years. And she said, here's the other part, Michelle. She said, they have to pay rent for their housing, and guess how it's heated? Natural gas. What's on natural gas?
Carbon tax.
Carbon tax. Oh, but wait, it gets even better. Because not only do they charge the carbon tax, the Liberal NDP coalition, they tax the carbon tax.
Tax on a tax.
That is disgusting. Do you know the PBO report reported that the carbon tax on propane and natural gas used for greenhouses, heating and cooling livestock barns and drying grain will cost the farmers nearly $1 billion by 2030. Has anybody visited a farm? I don't know if you know this or not, but farmers don't have a lot of money. Okay? Farmers are often what we call equity. They have a lot of assets, but very little cash flow. You bankrupt farmers, you bankrupt Canadians to be able to eat.
That's right.
Yep.
This is the most insane thing I've ever seen, and you think, okay, well, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? And it really makes you question what is happening. Okay, so also, according to Canada's food price report, food costs for the typical family of 4 expected to rise by $700 in 2024. According to a Second Harvest report, 36% of charities had to turn people away because they were running out of resources. Did you know the First Nations, 101 First Nations communities have taken the Liberal government to court over the carbon tax? They're waking up. You know, it's all virtue signaling, Madam Speaker. How much time do I have left? Okay. Thank you so much.
More.
So I have this lovely letter from a woman named Barbara. And she says, I heat my home with propane and a wood stove. Not only are we paying carbon tax, we are paying HST on the carbon tax. That is double taxation. I have called and written and spoken, but I can't get any answers. You're not alone, Barb. You're not alone, because the Liberal NDP coalition don't want to listen to you. They don't. Yesterday in question period, there was an exchange between the Leader of the Opposition and the Finance Minister, and she said, we'll take no lessons from the Conservatives, because we will stand for the least vulnerable. Was that a Freudian slip? I'm not sure. I want to read back to you the comments that are coming through, because a lot of times what the Liberals across the way will say, oh, they're making things up. They love to gaslight Canadians or find one person to zone in on their confirmation bias and say, oh, our toxic positivity, things have never been so great. Things have never been so wonderful. We know that's not true. Hello, Michelle. I live in Peterborough. I'm a wife and a mother of 4, ages 13 years to 15 months. The increase caused by the carbon tax in 8 years of the Prime Minister's Liberal government is killing my family. My husband has a job that used to be the golden ticket of jobs here in Peterborough, and now we can barely get by. We used to spend $400 for groceries and have a month's worth of food. Now, we are lucky if that gets us more than a week. I can't afford new glasses, my husband can't afford to go to the dentist, and don't get me started on the price of formula and diapers. All of this lands squarely on the incredibly corrupt shoulders of the Prime Minister Liberals and the NDP coalition. Any help you can provide and advocate for us is amazing. Please help us. Bob Bolton wrote, there should be no carbon tax in the first place. Michelle, we have all kinds of trees to look after that issue. Thanks. Good old Bobby. Megan Ireland Danellis said, as a mother of 3 and a small business owner with a partner working full-time and a part-time job myself, it's already a struggle to put food on the table and pay the bills. This tax increase will raise the prices of everything. Yet again, I'm not sure how people are supposed to survive, let alone thrive. It is a scary state of affairs, and I really hope that our next government can find a way to clean up some of the terrible mess that's been made. I know you know, Michelle, people are suffering, and there is no need for it to be this way. Everything has been flipped, and the focus is all wrong. I've always been a proud Canadian and a patriot. These last few years, for the first time ever, I've considered leaving my beautiful home of Canada. I have lost hope, and I know I'm not alone in this. You're not alone.
There's a lot of people thinking about leaving Canada. I've thought about it myself. I see the comments all the time. I've got 1,000 comments on my main channel there. Every day I see a lot of comments. They're everywhere. I see them on the short form. People are just, they're fed up with everything, and they're looking, you know, Costa Rica, Mexico, other places in Europe. People are thinking of leaving. It's just a fact now.
70% of Canadians are experiencing what you are experiencing. Working class families can't afford to put gas in their car, food in their fridge, or heat their home. That is the reality. We all know this. The Conservatives all know this. For some reason, that side of the House, the people who are in charge of this country, fail to acknowledge it, fail to recognize it.
I have a point of order.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. And the reality is, you can see there is literally thousands of comments. If you want to go, you can visit my Facebook page and read them, and maybe join people, because this is the reality. We hear you. We are fighting for you. We know that the Prime Minister's decision to force his tax hike on Canadians we know you don't want it. We have common sense solutions to axe the tax, and Conservatives will stand with you. We will fight for you, and we promise to make life more affordable. Thank you.
Questions and comments?
Yeah, that's a great speech. It's right to the point. A lot of facts there. And I missed that Freudian slip of Chrystia Freeland saying that that she'd be protecting the least vulnerable. It's like Trudeau had a Freudian slip there. Maybe, what was it, like 2-3 weeks ago? They're slipping up. I mean, it's bound to happen. And yeah, I mean, we already know where their true thoughts are anyways. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys feel about this whole speech. Often this stuff happens before the House of Commons session. They're given extended length to talk, and that's what this is. But I thought I'd share this here. I thought it was a great speech by Michelle Ferrari. And yeah, so let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. I'm going to start building this one up because I'm neurologically nervous because I had my main channel deleted before. That's basically why. I like to just feel like I have some reassurance, and this allows me to share some extra content that I don't think would necessarily get as much traction on the main channel. Sometimes there's just too much stuff going on like today. So yeah, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.